Let's talk about grades for a minute. What is a grade anyway? Grades are a tool to measure how well you're understanding and using the knowledge that we give you. Contrary to popular belief, they're not a trophy if you do well, and they're not a punishment if you do poorly. They're a measuring tool, pure and simple. Professor Ahmed Afzal compares grades to a car speedometer. The speedometer itself measures the speed you're traveling at, and that information in turn informs the driver as to how fast they're going. So we've got a measurement which gives information to the person. The problem is the students think of grades as being a means to achieve a certain GPA, the trophy. That's like thinking that the goal of driving is to maintain a certain speed, and the faster the better. But with the exception of race car sporting events, for most of us the goal of driving is to arrive at your destination safely by using good driving habits. Here's some common questions students ask about grades and some new ways of thinking about those questions. Why did you take off points? This assumes that you have a full score to begin with, and we reduce that score. That's like saying you've already arrived at your destination at the start of your journey, and why did we slow you down? But the only way you can take the journey is by planning carefully and doing the work thoroughly. And if you do that, you will arrive in a non-stressful way. If I don't get a good mark, I will lose my scholarship, or I can't move on to the next course. While that may be true, this seems like a plea that we shouldn't treat you like everybody else in the class, and that we should give you a special upgrade just because you're asking for it. Would that be fair to everybody else? I worked so hard in this course, or I spent so much time studying, and I received a low mark. You will notice that there's not a mark in the course outline for student tried hard or student spent a long time studying. Grading can't measure the amount of physical or mental effort you put into a course. It is designed to measure your gained knowledge and your actual performance in a particular field of study by testing that knowledge. Is there something I can do for extra credit? Most university courses don't have an option for doing extra credit to raise your mark. This is something that you may have had in high school, but again, because this would be giving you an unfair advantage over the other students in the class, it usually doesn't happen at the university level. Remember that you are not your grades. Grades are assessment tools, and you can use them wisely to determine how well you're doing in a course and change your learning and studying methods to get better feedback, and therefore a better grade, in your future test and assignment results. Finally, let's think about failure for a moment. Is it such a bad thing? Well, you've probably been taught in high school that failure is tantamount to disaster. For a dozen years, you've been told that failure is not an option. You have to pass no matter what. If necessary, you'll plead with your teacher for a passing grade, just so you can go on to the next year. But have you ever thought about failure as a learning experience? Probably not, since you were told from a very early age that you could be successful at anything if you just tried. But trying and putting in a lot of hard work aren't the only ingredients in the recipe for success. You also have to learn the tools that will help you effortlessly be more successful in an academic environment. We give students in university the right to fail. You're more than welcome to bomb out in the course, and we're quite fine with that. Now that sounds harsh, but it is yet another example of accepting that you, the students, are wholly responsible for your actions. If you fail in a test or a course, that's an amazingly important lesson for you that tells you that you need to change your method of study, or paper writing, or research methods, or whatever. Remember what they say, fail really means first attempt in learning. So is this hopeless? Of course not. In the next episode of this video series, I'll show you how to take great notes in class, how to make a study guide, and pass those midterms.